scholars bring new research questions, methodological approaches, critical perspectives, and areas of expertise that enrich our understanding of the catalytic niche areas and open up exciting new possibilities for their future development. Now, the members of this roundtable, as well as roundtable 2 that will follow after this one, were selected with great care, particularly for the distinct perspectives and scholarly contributions they can bring to these conversations. We're therefore very excited about the connections, the provocations, and the new lines of thinking that may emerge across these catalytic niche areas. The session is being live streamed on YouTube, so it is really a wonderful opportunity to get a sense of what our emerging scholars across catalytic niche areas such as marine studies, FYR and digitalization, biotechnology and natural sciences, health studies, and student support and co-curricular activities are bringing to our catalytic niche area engagements. So we are looking forward to a lively and intellectually stimulating discussion. I, along with my colleague from the College of Graduate Studies, Ms. Hanli Voliter, will from this point on mostly be offering behind-the-scenes support. And it is now my pleasure to hand you over to our chair for this roundtable, Dr. Postgraduate Ndandu. Thank you, Postgraduate. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Good morning all again and welcome. My name is Postgraduate Ndandu and I have the pleasure of chairing this session. Today's roundtable brings together emerging researchers from 5 catalytic niche area. This is your student support, biotechnology, health sciences, 4IR and marine studies. So this year's symposium is centered on the theme catalytic thinking, impactful outcome. As emerging researchers, we often focus on the project we are working on. We focus on the methods we are using or the outcomes we hope to achieve. But perhaps the most important questions are these. Who are we becoming through the research we produce? How is the catalytic niche area itself evolving through the people and the partnerships it actually brings together? And what kind of knowledge and ultimately what kind of impact will emerge from this journey? It's these questions that will guide today's conversation. They invite us to think about 3 interconnected journeys: the journey of the scholar, the journey of the catalytic niche itself, and the journey of knowledge. But rather than going straight and asking the panelists to answer, I'll begin to invite each panelist to briefly introduce themselves for 2 to 3 minutes only, after which I will come back in and introduce the 3 sets of questions that will guide today's discussion. For our guests, I will encourage participation throughout the session. You are able to, or you are allowed to write your questions in the Q&A boxes, and at the end of the roundtable, we will come back in and read the questions and have a fruitful engagement. So I'm just going to welcome my panelist number 1 to introduce themselves, and we just go down the list. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks again for this opportunity. My name is Tony Nelson Majila, and I work in the School of Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Studies in the College of Graduate Studies here at UNISA. And my current role is I am working as the research training officer responsible for coordinating research training interventions for postgraduate students, that is honors, postgraduate diploma, master's and PhD, as well as academic staff. And I'm happy that from next week, Monday, I will be participating in the transition program where my role will be senior lecturer in the College of Graduate Studies. So exciting times. And in terms of the catalytic niche area, that is connected to the work that I am doing. It's student support and co-curricular activities, as well as the 4IR and digitization. And maybe just a brief overview of the project that I am interested in. It's only 2 areas that I'll talk to now. Most importantly, enhancing student support in distance education, because in distance education, we are different to face-to-face, from conceptualization to delivery. And my other focus is on supporting students with disabilities, because this is the underrepresented population in the support that we are offering. And the new area is around qualitative data analysis support and the scholarship around it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Panelist 2, please. Panelist 2 is Dr. Itumeleng. You are muted, Doctor.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Chair, for that. I'm Itumeleng Sithedi. I am a principal laboratory technologist within the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. I'm what you would refer to as a biomedical biotechnologist, and what that means is that I work with living cells, organisms, models, could be animals or computational, to understand systems, biological systems, in the quest to develop treatments, therapeutics, and diagnostics. My focus area is mainly in drug-resistant tuberculosis and non-tuberculous mycobacteria. On a normal day-to-day, my research spans from collaborative work where I look into cancer. It could be parasitology, because I hold a PhD in life sciences, and I think I dabble among all those things from the interest that I got a long time ago with my honors in medical biology. So yeah, that is me, and I represent the niche area, or niche area, confused tongue twister, of biotechnology. I think it is biotechnology studies. Yeah, that is life sciences. Thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you so much. We have panelist number 3, Dr. Telepe. Thank you so much. We have panelist number 3, Dr. Telepe.
We have programs for birth to 4, early childhood and foundation phase. So my research niche is, and they are not limited to early mathematics, play-based pedagogies, the use of digital learning, Africanization, and ethnomathematics. So what I do as a lecturer, I focus on scholarship of teaching and learning, research, engaged scholarship, and academic citizenship. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Slingiwe.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can see me. I am Shengiwe Precious Kunene. I'm a postdoc research fellow at the Institute for Sustainability and Corporate Citizenship, which is usually referred to as ISCC or ISEC. And I'm working under the mentorship of Professor Namo. although I'm hosted by the ISAC or ISCC, currently based or seated at, UBISA's coastal campus here in KwaZulu-Natal, and that is as part of the broader UBISA global model, as well as, I'm also seated as a representative for CNA 1, which is Marine Studies. And this is basically where I do research on, your climate change and coastal resilience, with a particular focus on, trying to assist vulnerable communities to adapt to environmental change. Thank you, and over, Chair.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm just wondering if everyone else could see you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, okay. I think hopefully we go to the next panelist and we'll get that sorted. Thank you so much. Dr. Charity, you are up next.
Thank you so much. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Mohaeji Charity Somo. I am from the College of Education in the Department of Psychology of Education. I am a registered psychologist, a senior lecturer, and an emerging researcher. I have focused on two catalytic niche areas. The first one is CNA, which is health and medicine, and I specialize in mental health. And the second one I focus on is CNA 10, which is student support and co-curricular activities. And I specialize in academic integrity within higher education. Just a brief overview of my research project. I am the PI of two mixed method research. The first one is in health and medicine, and it is focusing on the mental health of adolescents within the Gauteng province. It's a mixed method study, and the study is funded by Tutuka and also by Vision Keepers from UNISA. My second area of focus, my research project, is in academic integrity within Odell in the College of Education. This is also a mixed method research study, and I'm conducting the study together with colleagues from the Institute of Open Distance Learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charity. We have Mr. Goliath next.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aurich Goliath, and I am affiliated in the College of Education, where I work as a lecturer in the Department of Early Childhood Education, where I'm involved in teaching and supporting students in the foundation phase education. I am currently an emerging researcher as well as a doctoral candidate with strong research interest in improving teaching and learning in the foundation phase. My research is connected to the catalytic niche area, focusing on education, innovation, and inclusive education.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goliath, but we could not see you at all. I hope we get that sorted as well. Ms. Antonia?
Okay, my name is Antonia Sienkamp, and I am currently pursuing a Master of Science in the in Environmental Science in the College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, working under
Professor Kevin Jens. There's a bit of a feedback. Okay. So professionally, I work in the water use authorization and registration within the Department of Water and Sanitation, Spongola to Mzimkhulu Catchment Management Agency as a certificated natural scientist. My research focuses on microbial water quality in the Umgeni River and eThekwini beaches, which builds on my BSc honors research to investigate how river conditions and historical contamination patterns influences the quality of coastal recreational waters. This is obviously aligned with the CNA 1 of marine studies. So the aim is to better understand the link between land-based pollution and marine ecosystems to generate scientific evidence that can support improved water resource management and help protect our coastal environment and blue economy. So working in both government and academia has given me the opportunity to connect scientific research with practical environmental decision-making. It has reinforced the importance of producing research that not only advances knowledge, but also informs policy and contributes to the sustainable management of our water resources. I look forward to learning from the expertise and perspectives of everyone here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now we head off to the last panelist. This is Dr. Mahmoud.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to be part of this conversation. My name is Mahmoud Akbari. I'm a senior postdoctoral research fellow with the UNESCO UNISA Itemba Labs, Africa Chain Nanoscience and Nanotechnology. I'm based at Itemba Labs, but affiliated with the College of Graduate Studies at UNISA. My work is primarily connected to the CNA 7, natural sciences, particularly where nanoscience intersects with the biotechnology, health, environmental sustainability, and also advanced materials. My academic background is multidisciplinary. I was trained in physics and electrical engineering, but my current research combines computational approaches, including density functional theory, molecular dynamics, with the experimental nanomaterial synthesis and characterization. Broadly, I'm interested in understanding how materials behave at the atomic and nanoscale levels, and then using this understanding to design better materials for energy, for environmental and biomedical applications. This includes areas such as nanomaterials for sensing, carbon dioxide conversion, hydrogen generation, thermoelectric energy harvesting, and also drug nanoparticle interaction and water treatment. Currently, I've been awarded 2 international grants, one from UK on water treatment, and another one from Iran National Science Foundation on drug delivery. I'm African PI for these 2 awarded grants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I think now we're just going to head into our first question. So I'd like to ask everyone, or all the panelists, how has being part of the catalytic niche research area trajectory shaped the way you understand your role as an emerging scholar? What does it mean to grow within a collaborative research agenda while also developing your own scholarly voice? And for those of you that actually attended the symposium over the past 2 days, I'm also interested to know whether any of the discussions or the conversations have challenged or reinforced the way you think about your role as a researcher. Thank you. And we're still going through the same list, so it's panelist 1 to 8. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. Yes, my engagement has changed, and it has been reinforced even during the past few sessions, but I must say in different places. It reinforced what I already believed about what makes research to be valuable, which is whether it changes the position of a student who is struggling, and we have a lot of struggling students at UNISA. What has changed is my understanding of where my work belongs to make the students to proceed and graduate. So I used to see myself as this emerging scholar who's supporting masters and PhD candidates, as well as academic who are social scientists. But then the catalytic niche areas has put me in rooms with scholars whose discipline I would never entered on my own. For example, in the past few weeks, I have co-analyzed a study on heavy metal bioaccumulation in Oreochromis mosambicus. That is aquatic science, way outside of my scope and what I'm doing. This is marine studies. So my contribution was analytical and not disciplinary, if I can say that. So the catalytic niche areas, it has not asked me to broaden my expertise in marine studies, but it has shown me that qualitative data analysis is capacity, and capacity is infrastructure. And with infrastructure, it runs underneath every discipline in this university and beyond, something that I never imagined. And for me, that is a change in how I see the relevance of my own work, and I always keep reflecting on it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. You are muted, Doctor.
Again, thank you. I was saying, as for me, I think I really do agree with what Tony Majila had said there. With regards to it opening doors that you never thought it would open, has it really kind of changed the way of thinking? Not really. It's kind of reaffirmed. Sometimes you're thinking, okay, maybe I'm being too much. Maybe I'm being extravagant. Maybe I'm being too opportunistic or something like that. And you realize, no, I'm on par with what's required. And I think of late having found oneself leading greater teams with people that you never thought you would be in charge of, if I make sense. And that's a global team. So I think for me with the previous, especially yesterday, it was more about innovation and how to reproduce and bring something to life. And that is a part that with the current study that we're on, we're trying to build up on. So it's an ongoing collaboration. We're trying to bring something that can be used and have an impact on the ground population with real South African problems. And so I find that as one continues, you become baffled and surprised with things that you can achieve. But like he said, infrastructure, once you have that, then you realize you have resources. Once you have that, you're able to solve problems that you never thought you would be. So for me, it's more exciting more than anything else, and that anything is possible, especially when you're willing to hear the voices of the people that are coming behind you, not necessarily the ones that are ahead of you, and also being able to incorporate other industries. It's become interesting. It's very fun for me, and I think it's built me. I've grown in the sense of how my way of thinking and aligning. So it has reinforced the way I've been thinking, planning, and how I incorporate myself within the space. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that beautiful question. For me, and attending the symposium from Wednesday, it actually challenged my mindset as an emerging scholar. And the theme of this year is catalytic thinking and impactful research. So I think it is now the right time to reimagine transformative teaching and learning and research. And as a professional teacher, I think it will be unfair for me to continue with this conversation without reflecting on what I understand by catalytic thinking. Maybe let's first understand what a catalyst is. A catalyst is a substance in science that we use to speed up a chemical reaction. So just like a chemical reaction, catalytic thinking it helps us as emerging researchers to think about generating innovative ideas, having meaningful and impactful research, engaged scholarship, and having that collaboration within academic citizenship. So I think my role now as an imaging researcher going forward within this evolving CNA is to have impactful research outputs. I am talking about supervision of masters and doctoral students. I am talking about research outputs, research articles, scholarly book chapters, and books, and having patent. I guess as young people, especially in education, we need to start thinking about having innovative patterns to assist our communities, especially in teaching and learning from the foundation phase. I think, for example, we need to rethink about me as an individual. I need to rethink about innovative and digital pedagogies that I can use to teach early mathematics from birth and up until these kids are in grade 3, and again to promote equitable and accessible teaching and learning of mathematics in school, and to align with this sustainable development goal 4, because it talks about quality education, to align with the UNISA 2065 strategy and the vision plan 2026 to 2030. And all these approaches, they actually contribute to my research trajectory and to have meaningful classroom practices. And to do this, we need to, as the College of Education, we need to make sure that our pre-service teachers, they exit the system with all needed equipped skills when they are ready to be in the field. And again, we need to start having teacher professional development initiatives where we bring these in-service teachers to train them so that we can align with all these innovative ideas and goals. And you spoke about maintaining your independent research niche. I think for me, I need to maintain teaching and learning of mathematics in the foundation phase, and again align with the UNISA Catalytic niche area, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, and assisting or guiding our M&D students, our masters and doctoral students as the next generation researchers. Thank you so much. Let me end here.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Selepe. I enjoyed listening to you.
Can I go on?
You can go on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chair, for the question. I think for me, sorry about that, being part of the CNAs or reflecting on the past few days of the CNA symposium, it has actually made me realize that, I'm not working on an individual project at UNISA, but, I'm becoming a scholar within a broader catalytic agenda that seeks to shape Africa's intellectual futures. So I'm basically beginning to see clearly how my work actually forms part of a wider institutional community. And to be honest, this actually gives me, strong sense of purpose, in a sense that now I'm seeing myself not merely, as the person who's adding another manuscript to the library, but, as someone who's contributing to a deliberate effort to build your interdisciplinary, your multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary knowledge in areas that I feel, are deeply matter actually for the continent. And with this realization, the realization has actually made me think more carefully about the relevance of my research as well as the responsibilities that actually accompany it. At the same time, I think I'm learning that, developing as an emerging researcher or a scholar within the CNA agenda. It does not mean, now I have to let go or give up, my intellectual independence or my voice. But, it's about me now finding and strengthening this voice or this independence within this wider community. So in other words, or what I'm trying to say is that, I can become part of this shared scholarly agenda without really losing myself or my independence. And I can actually use my voice to contribute critically and constructively to this community. And this can actually shape where, the CNA agenda goes next. So all in all, I think we are becoming scholars, or I am becoming a scholar who understands that my work is part of, the UNISA's catalytic identity. And I'm also, becoming more open to the idea that, scholarly identity is not formed individually, but through critical engagement as we encounter new perspectives as well as we learn from others. Thank you, and over.
Thank you. We head off to the next panelist.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasid, for this critical question. What I've learned as I've engaged with the catalytic niche area of health and medicine in adolescent mental health is that indigenous paradigms are key. Prof. Savuraru on Wednesday spoke about the geometry and the geography of Western context is not the same as that of African context. And I resonated with that from my lived experiences in conducting mental health research in adolescents in the Gauteng province. What I realized is that we do have African indigenous psychological theories, but really what we need in shaping intellectual identities in Africa is that we need an African paradigm. We've got these important qualitative, quantitative mixed method paradigm that are intellectualized by Western philosophers. But we need to come together as African scholars and philosophers to form and formulate an African research paradigm that resonates with our context, because indeed the geometry and the geography is not the same. And I'm learning that through engagement with the CNA, and that's how CNA engagement is shaping my intellectual identity. It is affirming that African theories are not sufficient. We need African paradigm thinking.
Thank you so much. We will head over to Mr. Goliath.
Are you able to see me, Dr. Prasid?
As long as we can hear you, I think it's okay. I think we know that someone is on the other side, so it's okay.
Okay, I will continue.
Mr. Goliath, you don't have to worry about that. It's all good.
Okay. As participating in this year's symposium has broadened my understanding of what it means to be an emerging scholar within the evolving CNA agenda, rather than viewing research as an individual pursuit. I now see scholarship as a collaborative, interdisciplinary, and socially responsive endeavor. The three journeys from catalytic thinking to impactful outcomes and finally to scholarly identity highlight that becoming a researcher is not only about producing knowledge, but also about producing knowledge that matters and creates meaningful change. So I believe growing within the CNA means learning from experienced researchers while simultaneously developing an independent scholarly voice. I believe it requires balancing collaboration with intellectual independence, contributing to collective research goals, yes, while establishing a unique research niche and identity. And I believe that UNISA supports postgraduate students within the catalytic niche area
by creating opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration, providing structured research capacity development through symposiums, workshops, seminars, and mentorship, as well as encouraging engagement with the national and international researchers. So from my perspective is that the CNA also creates platforms for networking, scholarly dialogue, research dissemination, and collaborative publication opportunities. Ultimately, the symposium reinforces that an emerging scholar is not defined merely by completing a postgraduate qualification, but also by developing a research identity grounded in curiosity, collaboration, ethical scholarship, as well as commitment to producing knowledge that has lasting impact.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goliath. Miss Antonia?
Yeah. Is my camera on? Yes, it is. Okay. So I was actually not able to participate in the symposium, and I low-key regretted just listening to the other panel members who were able to, but I will definitely go have a look at the recordings on YouTube. But just drawing from my own experiences, I have realized that marine studies and environmental studies in general is an interdisciplinary area which cannot be viewed in isolation. And speaking from a scholarly experience, it goes far beyond what I am researching, because you do need to consider how it intersects with policy, governance, public health, and community well-being. And because environmental issues are so complex, and while we still need to be aligned across disciplines as researchers and professionals in the field, it's also important to maintain your own identity, your own train of thought, so that you're not just copy pasting from what other people have done, but actually seeking to contribute to the field through our own unique insights. So you need to maintain curiosity, critical thinking, while still maintaining scientific integrity. I see the catalytic niche areas as a platform that challenges you to think more deeply about the relevance and the application of not just my work, but also the work that has come before me and that will obviously also come after me, while still pursuing questions that I find meaningful. Because if I don't find it interesting, no one else is going to find it interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahamoud.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I think the symposium has reinforced for me that an emerging scholar is not just simply someone waiting to become established. We are already contributing to the direction, to the culture and trajectories of the research community. Before entering a forum like this, it's easy to think mainly in terms of individual projects that we do. For example, completing a study, publishing a paper, or developing a particular method. The symposium actually encourages us to look beyond the boundaries of our own projects and ask us how our work could be connected with a much larger research agenda. In my case, my main intellectual home is nanoscience and nanotechnology within CNA 7. The question that I work on naturally is how we can connect with biotechnology, medicine, environmental science, energy, and also digital modeling. So you see, this actually has helped me a lot to understand that my role actually is not just limited to becoming a specialist in just one narrow area. So I also had responsibility to act as a bridge between fields that may use different languages, but are often trying to solve related problems. I think developing an independent scholarly identity within the CNA actually doesn't mean separating myself from the community. For me, independence means developing a clear intellectual position. For example, knowing what question I consider important, what method I can contribute, and what principles could guide my research. At the same time, the CNA could provide a wider environment in which that identity can mature through collaboration, criticism, mentorship, and also exposed to different forms of the knowledge. So I see the relationship here as a reciprocal. The CNA shapes us, broadening our thinking and creating opportunities, but we also shape the CNA through the question that we ask, the collaboration that we establish, and also the new direction that we introduce. Yeah, I think.
Thank you so
this
much.
is my contribution. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I've got follow-up questions for Dr. Selepe and Mr. Goliath. Dr. Selepe, you have spoken about your experience as an emerging researcher. So I'd just like to build on that a bit. Has your engagement with the CNA changed what you consider to be valuable or impactful research, or has it reinforced perspective you already held? And Mr. Goliath, I think everyone has spoken about scholarly identities one way or the other. What responsibilities you think come with becoming not only researchers, but also producers of knowledge that may influence policy, practice, and society? With these questions, I just ask that, we spend a minute, not 2 minutes, please, just a minute each. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. The symposium, actually, it has reinforced the perspectives that I already had throughout my academic journey. I need a few minutes, please. Throughout my academic journey, okay, from studying at foundation phase and learning to understand the paradigms and the teaching methodologies of early mathematics. And it was so beautiful to see me growing to understand how to teach foundation phase learners, and that transition from BEd, honors, masters, and PhD. So now I would like to make sure that my experience shows how my independent academic journey gels with the catalytic niche areas, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization. This is what I did, colleague. In one of my modules, MFP 1501, that is no stress. I will explain what MFP 1501 is. MFP 1501 is a module code for mathematics for foundation phase teachers in year 1. In BEd foundation phase. So what I did, I wrote a research paper that was published this year. My argument was that we need to include the digital manipulatives and innovative ideas in the module, from the scholarship of teaching and learning, so that we can make sure that our pre-service teachers are well prepared. So as a result, it improves my scholarship of teaching and learning, and it improves my research as well. So on Wednesday, Professor Sudesh said that we need to do research that matters, and her perspectives resonated well with what the Dean of Education, the Dean of College of Education, Professor Magwe, has always been emphasizing that we need to teach what we research and we need to research what we teach. So as a result, you can see that golden thread between my scholarship of teaching and learning and research. And again, colleagues, as we speak now, as we are having this discourse this morning, we are in a different province doing teaching practices. So this is the time where we go into the real world to see what is actually happening in the classroom and to understand all the underlying issues in order to create that sustainable and innovative education. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Selepe. 1 minute only, please. Mr. Goliath, please go ahead.
you so much, Doctor. From my point of view, I believe that it would be to collaborate, as I said, with colleagues, communities, as well as policymakers. This is where you co-create relevant and meaningful knowledge, such as you contribute to a positive social impact that would be ensuring to research leads to meaningful change in policy, practice, as well as community well-being. In that aspect where you also need to critically reflect on your practice to continuously evaluate and improving your work.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Goliath. I think one of the themes that's already beginning to emerge is that our identities as researchers are shaped not only by individual work, but also the people, the environment, and the collaboration that surround us. So this year's symposium challenged us to think about catalytic thinking, but catalytic thinking isn't just about working across discipline, as we have stated. So second question, if catalytic thinking asks us to produce knowledge differently, what assumptions about research do we first need to challenge as emerging researchers? 1 minute each for each panelist, starting with panelist number one.
Thank you, Doc. Yes, 1 minute. But then the assumption, I think for me, it will be around students with disabilities. And I'm saying this from the work that I've done on my master's and a PhD. So SDG4, like one of the delegates said, it is asking us, for access and quality together. And I think the disability support is where we need to deliver. So we register our students, but we don't make learning reachable. Reachable. So at UNISA, I think it matters most because we have the biggest size of population for students with disabilities, and it is a social mandate and maybe a constitutional one for us. And when we are moving in this area of digitization, I think the gap is now widening and not closing. So yeah, I think we really have to just do a lot. But then in conclusion, we have Department of Inclusive Education, and I think as the institution, and we invested a lot in that to be the first university to have the dedicated Department of Inclusive Education. So we need to reach out to those colleagues so that they can teach us how to teach students with disabilities, on this online platform. So thanks a lot, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Tumileng.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is very short. I think for me, the assumption that we really need to get away with is that knowledge belongs to academics and that knowledge belongs in places we can't see, being locked away, not being translational. I think it was Dr. Selepe who was talking about patenting and producing students, which are all the great things that we know we need to be doing, and that's how we impact our communities in a way. But I think we've lost direction in a sense of what does that mean and how do we translate it? When we are doing our engaged scholarship, we kind of, in a way, lost how to do community engagement, how to really give back in a meaningful way, the way when you leave, it's not like, oh, you came, we ate, we danced, and that was it. But you have left some form of change, some form of reflection, and a new way of adopting things. So for me, that is the assumption that I would really like to see go away. And I think with regards to that particular knowledge holding and knowledge hogging, perhaps the sense that when we are bringing everybody in as collaborators, we kind of forget at the end of the day, once you have that certificate, once you have that promotion, that you require the people that you have collaborated with, the industries that you brought on board, to be able to kind of replicate and apply what you said you were going to apply. We forget what we're actually intending to solve, and that's where it ends. So I think for me, that's that, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Selepe. Please remember you're just speaking for 1 minute. Thank you so much.
1 minute. Thank you so much.
1 minute.
Yes, I would say we need to challenge our epistemologies. It is a fact that research has been focusing on Western ideas. As much as we acknowledge and we support these CNAs, we should actually embrace decolonization, the use of multilingualism, Africanization, and all these African ideas to produce our research.
So again, I think maybe we need to do interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary and multidisciplinary research to inform policy within these interconnected disciplines. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Klingire?
Thank you so much, Jay. I think I relate a lot with the previous speakers, but then I must say that, if we are to take, catalytic thinking seriously, then I believe and think that we need to challenge some of the long-held assumptions about, what counts as knowledge, how knowledge is produced, as well as who has the authority to produce it. So I'm saying this because the inherited model of academic research usually, places the academic experts at the center of knowledge production. Designed and interpreted within the university, and that is only after which then findings are then communicated to communities or other audiences. And I know in this process, communities and other relevant stakeholders or audiences may be consulted, but my issue is them not always treated as equals or significant partners that can actually shape the research agenda itself. And with the CNA agenda, then it challenges us to move beyond working within a single discipline or relying on one way of knowing. And instead, it calls for a commitment to interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and transdisciplinary scholarship. And this means that recognizing knowledge as or knowledge creation as a collective process that benefits from diverse experiences as well as different forms of expertise. So I would also say, producing knowledge differently within the CNAs for me means that, we now move beyond conducting research about communities towards producing knowledge with them. I feel like, with saying that communities should then not, enter the process or the research process as participants or data sources, but, they need to be the people that define the research questions. They need to be involved in shaping the methods, in interpreting the findings, and also, determining how their contributed knowledge is shared and applied. I think Prof. Nama made a very good example the past few days, where he mentioned something about, the MOUs that we have, because I'm part of his team, with various municipalities. To me, that to me demonstrates, that core production is able to actually, create a foundation for communities and your universities to develop knowledge as well as solutions together. At the same time, the same example I was talking about, it encouraged me to think critically about, what genuine co-creation, requires. Yes, an MOU, can create formal basis of collaboration, but, the deeper test is when now the municipalities or the communities, have a meaningful influence over the questions asked, the decisions that are made, as well as the benefits that are co-produced. I'm sorry. But at the same time, I'm starting to realize that producing knowledge differently is about, much more simply than including these or those participants, about using these or those methods. But, it requires a deeper shift in thinking about what counts as knowledge and who gets to create it, And this to me means, questioning whose voices are recognized as experts, whose experiences are considered available, as well as who has the power to decide, what knowledge is legitimate. And it also encourages me to, think about who, about who research ultimately serves, and to whom researchers should be accountable to. So, okay, I'm not going to go further, but I think, this point actually, or everything about this question actually makes me reflect about my own research practices. And it basically challenges me to consider whether, the concepts, theories, and the methods I've been using create a space for, our communities to generate or contribute to knowledge in their own terms, and if not so, then, I think important local understanding in experiences as well as ways of of knowing may be overlooked. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goliath.
Dr. Pesayed, I think you mean me.
Oh, yes, sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
You can go ahead.
that's completely okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Well, the way that knowledge should be challenged within the catalytic niche area of health and medicine is that oftentimes what we do in mental health and in psychology, we are focused in psychological measures and psychometric measures that have been developed in Western contexts, and then we validate them within the African and South African context. And that is key and that's important because there are shared mental health experiences that we have across different cultures, across different globally. And so that is incredible work that we're doing. What we need to challenge that and what we need to step up in that is that Dr. Mostert yesterday mentioned that we need to move away from sense taking and move towards sense making. And within the context of mental health is that we need to start developing our own indigenous psychometric measures and mental health measures that are informed by indigenous paradigms, theories, and lived experiences, not just adapted from Western context, but started and conceptualized and tested and validated within the African context and within the lived experiences of African people. And I think that is where we need to start challenging the assumptions of thinking within the CNA 8. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goliath. Just to remind our guests that as the speakers are talking, you are welcome to please write your questions in the Q&A and we'll get back to it. Thank you, Mr. Goliath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Basit. As I would say, I believe that the first assumption we need to challenge is that valuable knowledge can only be produced within a single discipline or by an individual researchers working in isolation. So I believe the catalytic thinking would be by creating opportunities for collaboration across multi-levels, interdisciplinary research through the catalytic niche area, where researchers, I believe, from different colleges work together to address complex societal changes or challenges, as well as I believe that research symposiums, roundtables, seminars, and workshops that would bring together postgraduate students, supervisors, academics, as well as external experts to exchange ideas and to develop research capacity, such as also making use of communities of practice and mentorship where emerging scholars are supported by experienced researchers while also learning from their peers, whereby knowledge sharing platforms that encourage collaborative publications, conferences, presentations, as well as networking amongst postgraduate students. So the student support and co-curricular activities CNA is strengthened by postgraduate activities that extend learning beyond formal supervision. For instance, building research capacity through postgraduate symposium, writing retreats, research methodologies, as well as workshops and proposal development sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Antonia.
All right. So, as Mr. Goliath has just said, we do really need to challenge this assumption that valuable research only happens within disciplinary boundaries. Many of today's environmental challenges, which are your water quality, climate change, sustainable resource management, all of these are interconnected, and you can't understand it through a single perspective. So scientific evidence is important, but it must also be informed by policy, governance, social perspectives, and the lived experiences of the communities which are affected by these factors. And on the points of communities, this is a point that I think almost all of the panelists have raised here when answering this question. And this just underscores how important it is across the CNAs and not just within the one that I'm dealing with, which is marine studies. So personally, I have seen that collaboration between researchers, government institutions, and practitioners often produces solutions that are more practical and implementable than working in isolation. So producing knowledge differently, therefore, means valuing collaboration, recognizing different forms of expertise, and remaining open to perspectives that challenge our own assumptions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our last panelist.
Okay. Can you see me? Okay. Thank you. I think most of panelists have very correctly mentioned that what assumption is required, but I think one assumption that we need to challenge, I think, is the complex problems that can be understood actually adequately from within a single discipline. In natural sciences, we often organize research according to the departments or established areas of expertise. But many of the problems that we want to address, for example, water security, sustainable energy, disease detection, or environmental pollution, none of them do not respect those boundaries. The second assumption could be the knowledge is that actually the knowledge moves in one direction from the researcher to the society. In reality, communities, practitioners, technicians, and also industry partners, they often hold important knowledge about the problem, but the operating they have important knowledge about the problem, the operating condition, and also the constraint that they're facing. But they haven't, most of the time, they haven't mostly they just enter at the end of the when the solution has been finished or completed. The other things we should also challenge the assumption that novelty, which is a novelty. We might get sure that novelty is sufficient. So it is not sufficient. A result may be scientifically new, but still have limited value if it cannot be reproduced or understood or even connected to an important need. So in my own field, another assumption that can be come in is that computational research and experimental research are separate stages. I see them as a part of an iterative process. Simulation can identify promising mechanisms or materials, but experimental can test that predictions. On the other hand, this unexpected experimental results also could improve the theoretical model. In my point of view, producing knowledge differently requires more than putting researchers from different disciplines on the same project. Actually, it requires us to rethink how the question could be defined, whose expertise is recognized, and also how evidence from different methods is brought together for solving the issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm just going to ask Dr. Itumeleng what perspective, experiences, or ways of knowing remain unrepresented in our conversations, and how might inclusion reshape the kinds of knowledge the CNA generates. I think I also might want to add Dr. Tony here as well, just to, I don't know if you want to add something again on disabled learning and whatnot, but if not, it's okay. Dr. Itumeleng.
Thank you, Dr. Proceed. I think from what I was listening to yesterday in one of the presentations, with regards to research itself, I think we are having funding bodies, I think that concern me, funding bodies, mainly focusing on research that is brought forward by only academics. And maybe I'm being biased on this one as a laboratory technologist who's been conducting research and supervising for many years. Here at UNISA, of which I really need to commend UNISA for that, because it's not every institution that allows and is on board with that. And so I think they really do kind of lose on research that is very translational and that incorporates current technology, considering the type of, what can I say, workload and expectations from an academic perspective. Having been on both sides, I feel like it's a bit of a loss. The other one is having had observed how the voices of developing researchers and emerging researchers is sometimes not valued. So I think those are the things that we really do not give more attention to. Times have changed. We're dealing with different eras in one space. You have people that, acquired their professions in days where there was no technology, and you have people who are able to think on their feet and they can pivot. And so they come with new ideas, but they're not heard, they're put on the side. They're not put as a center of innovation, as I've said, which for me, I think that's the one topic and conversation that we do not entertain much. And I think it kind of hinders and prolongs our output becoming impactful outcomes. Yeah, let me leave it there. I think I do have a lot of things and they just play in my mind, but let me leave it there for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Tony, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yes, thanks, Chair. So I was talking about digitization and how things are moving fast. For example, in my space, we teach qualitative data analysis using Atlas TI, the software. And each and every year we see new releases, with features that makes it easy for students and researchers to analyze faster. But then how does a student who is blind, work in that environment? How do they move from this coded document? How are they reading this network view, which is visual, that the supervisor and the examiners are looking for, or even make sense, of this core occurrence table? And we cannot answer those questions, and neither can the sector. So I think now it's important that this conversation has to be, or rather it should be a procurement question and not necessarily retrofit question. We need to start asking our vendors, about screen readers support, at the point of contract, and because we are buying exclusion and then find, how we can work around supporting students with disabilities, and we end up paying twice, while the students wait and get stuck. So I think those are the assumptions that we have about. We are moving fast, our students are moving fast, but then students with disabilities is left behind, and we are not talking about that. So I believe with the catalytic niche area agenda, while we are also talking about digitization, we can include, these discussions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I'll just move on to the last question. So this year's Symboson challenges us to move from catalytic niche thinking to impactful outcome, one way or the other. As the catalytic niche area itself continues to grow and mature, how will we know that the knowledge we produce is making a meaningful difference? What should we recognize as evidence that our research has actually translated into lasting impact? Dr. Tony, you are the first panelist, so you could go ahead and speak again. Thank you.
Yeah, for this one, I'm thinking about what Dr. Somo has just said regarding our thinking, this African paradigm. And as a school in the college, we are hosting this indigenous epistemology seminar series. So I think in responding to that question, yes, we need to really collaborate with other people in other spaces, in other catalytic niche areas from the conceptualization so that we can leave this long-lasting legacy in what we are doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, for me, I think how does one measure meaningful impact? I think if a study that you're conducting is able to generate more questions, I kind of don't believe that you should be studying and then you're done. In order to know that there is something that you're solving, you should be able to say, okay, I got here, but what more? What else? It should be a study that also incorporates and brings in different industries because we cannot work in silos. There is no how a person can solve a problem being just one person in one field. And I think it's also measurable and in a way that brings a difference that doesn't have to even make one lift a stone. Just by you saying something should be able to make someone reflect and think. Then you know that there is an impact and you don't know who's gonna say what to who, but ultimately there will be some change. So it's kind of like a ripple effect in my opinion, because we definitely can't see change and impact at the moment, which with some things we can, but in most instances, research is something futuristic. You must be able to plan something that you think in the next 5-10 years, should somebody stumble upon it, even if it's 30 years, they will be able to understand what you meant. And I think the problem that we do is we do reactive research instead of reflective and futuristic research where you're thinking in advance, and that's why we are behind. I think also when you start seeing the incorporation of both not just the societal impact, but also the economical impact, be it if it's on paper, but there must be something that you're saying, this is what is going to benefit. And that's how I think that's how we measure whether your research is impactful or not, or if it will yield some impact in the future or not.
Thank you. Panelist number 3, 1 minute each, please.
Okay, to me, I think we now need to move from catalytic thinking into practice, because you can think about something and decide not to do anything about it. So now it is time to have meaningful output. Both, my argument is that we need to have both measurable and non-measurable outputs. Yes, I acknowledge that publishing in high impact factor journals, top tier journals, tier 1 and tier 2, and maybe having NRF rating, those practices that we see that you are an excellent scholar or par excellence researcher. However, we need to now move from generating knowledge that is impactful and having to influence our scholarship of teaching and learning, our communities, and academic citizenship. So it shows that as moving beyond catalytic thinking, we need to create impactful knowledge, not just a generation of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Panelist 4.
So for me, I try by all means, to do away with the tendency to, equate research success mainly with what can be counted easily. I understand that, your publications and citations matter, but to me, they do not necessarily, tell us whether our research has changed institutions, if it has strengthened, communities, or really addressed the challenges that it is set out to examine. So this is me saying then that, societal impact for me may be the most, but yet, or at the same time, a demanding measure of success, of the CNAs. So if the CNAs aim to contribute to, like I said or indicated earlier, to Africa's intellectual futures, then I think we should look for evidence that research really informs or challenges policy, that research supports changes in community practices, that it generates useful solutions for communities, etc. So basically, communities should also be able to recognize their realities and contributions in the knowledge that is produced. So, but at the same time, I'm aware that, societal impact is not always immediate and easy to measure compared to something like, your publications and stuff. But, no, I think there may be a need for us to distinguish between, your short-term and your long-term research impacts. So what I'm saying all in all is that I think that the key measure of success is therefore not, whether to say CNA research agenda is recognized, but whether it is useful, to whom it is useful, and on whose terms it's useful or usefulness is defined. So I think this also requires us as well to, remain open to the possibility that, communities and partners may understand impact or this impact differently from, us as researchers as well as, institutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goliath. Sorry again, Dr. Charity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Beside. I want to, so Dr. Kunene and Dr. Mahmood have already highlighted the importance of involving the community in shaping knowledge and intellectual identities. And I think that impact should be judged by how accessible the knowledge that we produce is to the community that have contributed towards this knowledge. We take knowledge from communities, both quantitatively, qualitatively, and through mixed method research. We take the knowledge from the community, from our participants. We say we co-construct knowledge with our communities when we're using interpretivist lenses. And then what we need to do then is we need to publish in journals that are accessible in terms of
Dr. Charity. Dr. Charity?
Yes.
Okay, you were stuck there. You can go ahead and continue talking.
Can you hear me now? I don't know where you lost me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So I'll just say that I think that impactful knowledge should be judged by how accessible is that knowledge we co-constructed and we took from the community. How accessible is that knowledge back to the community? And I think one way to ensure that, and we need to make sure that we are publishing in not just open access journals, but in journals that write accessibly towards the community in terms of the language, meaning language that's not jargon, but language that can be understood by lay people, the participants that we took the knowledge from. And also we need to, in terms of style of writing, in terms of the journal, not journals that are heavily written in terms of style and academic tone towards academics, but towards a community. And I'll just conclude by giving two journal examples. One of them is Migration Letters. So Migration Letters is a journal that's focused on publishing research on refugee forced migration. And Migration Letters is written in a letter format, meaning that anyone, you don't have to be an academic to read the findings and the implications of the findings from that community. It's accessible, the language is accessible, the style of writing is accessible. Another journal that's doing that, particularly in education, is Continuity in Education. The style of writing is non-jargon. The style of writing is written in a way that participants can understand what we wrote based on what they told us. And I think impact should be judged on how accessible is the knowledge that we took from the community, how accessible is that knowledge to the community itself.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charity. Mr. Goliath, just to remind everyone, we have 1 minute each to respond, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasid. As I believe we know, when we have succeeded, I believe it is when the knowledge we produce moves beyond academic publications, and we begin to influence practice, policy, as well as people's everyday experiences. So we need to ask ourselves the question, what has changed because of our research? And I believe it is the catalytic niche area impacts extends beyond traditional academic outputs, such as publications or conferences, presentations. So the real measure would be the success of whether research leads to meaningful improvements in student experiences, success, as well as holistic development. So what the student support or co-curricular activities catalytic niche area impactful outcomes, I believe it is measured by the extent to which research transforms student experiences and contributes to student success. So catalytic thinking encourages us to move beyond producing knowledge for academic purposes towards producing knowledge that informs policy, improves practice, and enhances institutional effectiveness. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think I'm next, eh?
Yes, you are.
Okay. The problem with being one of the last people to speak is you sound like you're repeating what everyone else said. So I think to answer the question of whether we've made a meaningful impact, you have to consider, has your research contributed to positive change? Again, like everyone has said, publications and symposiums like this are very important because they help us to share ideas and challenge each other's thinking. But again, they're not the end goal. So for me, the question is, how do we make sure that the knowledge that we have produced is actually used in the real world? So in my professional role, I see firsthand how scientific evidence can support better regulatory decisions and improve the management of our water resources. I've also seen how my own research has influenced the way I approach my work, hopefully for the better. So I don't think that meaningful impact is always immediate or easy to measure. Sometimes it's simply providing the evidence that helps people make better decisions. And over time, that's what's going to lead to lasting change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's me. Yes. Thank you, panelists. As I said, what I'm going to say, I think is going to be repeated what the other panelists mentioned. I think meaningful impact should be evaluated at several levels rather than just one indicator. The most important one is the quality of the knowledge itself. We should ask ourselves that the research is rigorous, transparent, or open to crucial examination. So without this foundation, it's difficult to claim a meaningful impact. The second level should be capability. So we should ask ourselves that has the project trained student or introduce new technologies or improve the laboratory functional. So these outcomes is very significant for a researcher to look up the capability of his work. The third level is using. So we should ask ourselves that if the knowledge influenced another research project or informed the design of an experiment or contributed to a prototype, output. So these are also very important. The fourth level is, I can say, is the sustained change. So the strongest impact happens when something continues after the original project ends. For example, students should become independent researchers, method become embedded in an institution, or collaboration attracted further funding, or technologies continues toward the validation or adoption. For me, the impact is most convincing when credible knowledge could lead to new capability, better decision, or lasting change. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much. We have one question that I'm not sure we're going to have time to answer it, but which CNA has the greatest potential for meaningful comparative advantage between Africa and Western countries in terms of knowledge production or application? I don't know if anyone of the panelists would like to take a jab at that for a minute only. If not, then I'll just go ahead and just wrap up the session. Yes, you may go ahead.
I was actually seeing this question in the chat and I was hoping I get to answer it. So obviously I would want to say marine studies because that's my world. But if you take a step back and you think at when we had COVID-19, right, we saw remarkable resilience and innovation across Africa alongside international collaboration, and that accelerated scientific progress. It wasn't a one-way exchange of knowledge. And I think the same applies again to areas like water security, climate resilience, and public health. So I think the greatest comparative advantage is where each partner brings something different to the table and each partner's role is also acknowledged. So it's not one over the other.
Thank you so much. I think I'm just going to end there and we have our closure. But of course, if any other panelists would like to say anything, I think we could just write it out and answer to that. So as we bring our roundtable to a close, there's a reflection I'd like to leave you all with. Today's conversation has reminded us the strength of the catalytic niche area lies not only in the knowledge it produces, but also in the people who produce it. So the success of the CNA depends on the scholars who are willing to look beyond themselves, to collaborate across disciplines, to remain open to different perspectives, and to recognize that meaningful knowledge is created through dialogue and the partnership rather than in isolation. That reflection brings me to Dr. Monet's keynote yesterday. He challenged us to think about thinking itself, reminding us that the quality of thinking shapes the quality of our decisions and ultimately the quality of work. He also cautioned against looking only inward. When we begin to look at ourselves as exceptional, we risk what he described as strategic exceptionalism, a way of thinking that can undermine collaboration and collective purpose on which higher education actually depends on. I think today's discussion has shown a different path, one grounded in curiosity, humility, and willingness to learn from one another. On behalf of myself and the panel, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to all the panelists for sharing their experiences and, of course, their time. A special thank you to Prof. Jessica Murray for her support and our technical support. I don't think we'd be able to do anything without them. And finally, thank you to everyone who has joined this roundtable. I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ndandu, for really chairing and facilitating this session so skillfully. Thank you also to our wonderful panel members for your thoughtful, engaging, and intellectually rich contributions. For us as academics, and I see a number of my colleagues, senior academics who have joined this session, listening to you all, we feel really, really excited about the future of these catalytic niche areas. It's a future that's looking very bright because these catalytic niche areas are in excellent hands with young emerging scholars such as yourselves. So thank you so much. Okay, we are moving straight into roundtable 2 now. Our chair for this session is Dr. Newman Tekwa, and this roundtable 2 will be covering aviation and aeronautical studies, automotive studies, energy, space study, and square kilometer array. as well as feminist, womanist, and Busadi theorizations. I want to encourage you all to keep popping your questions and your comments in the chat. Obviously, these are ongoing conversations. It's one for us to be able to pick up on questions and concerns for future sessions we are organizing from the College of Graduate Studies. And of course, please feel free, all panel members, if panel members from Roundtable 1 would like to stay, you are welcome to continue contributing on the chat as well. Dr. Tekwa, with that, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof, for the introductions. And also, let me take the opportunity to thank my co-chair, Dr. Ndandu, for taking us through the roundtable number 1, which covered mostly the last five parts of the CNAs. So let me also maybe welcome you all, our audience, and also the panelists for roundtable number 2. On the online postgraduate student and the emerging researchers CNA roundtable discussions. And our theme, maybe I might also need just to reiterate the theme, which focuses on emerging voice, catalytic futures, postgraduate and early career dialogues as catalytic niche area impact. So that's the theme we're running on, and it adds on the theme which has been running for the past 2 days, which maybe Ndandu mentioned catalytic thinking, impactful outcomes. So my name is Dr. Nyume Tekwa. I'm a postgraduate postdoctoral fellow with the Research and Social Policy at the College of Graduate Studies, and I'll be sharing the maybe roundtable number 2. And just to provide a background to it, I think we are all aware that in 2021, the UNISA's Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Lenkabula, identified 10 catalytic niche areas as the university's strategic research focus to drive innovation, address societal needs, and shape Africa's intellectual futures. The CNAs constitute scholarly spheres of strategic importance, a core element of the university's institutional identity, meant to catalyze research, innovation, and engage scholarship. The inter and transdisciplinary approach or engagement, which constitute maybe the approach within the CNAs, will make UNISA synonymous not just with scholarly excellence, but cutting-edge academic excellence. So to discuss some of these issues and how these are being optimized within the different CNAs and the colleges, we've set up a panel of 8 panelists, which are drawn from 4 institutions within the university, the College of Law. We also have the assessed, which is then also have what SEDU, and also have participants which are drawn from the TM school to help us discuss some of the discussion, maybe issues which fall within or try to discuss the theme of the roundtable. The roundtables for the CNA symposium which was happening for the past 2 days. So the CNAs which are within this particular roundtable, we have CNA number 2, which is aviation and aeronautic studies. We have also CNA number 3, which covers automotive. We have CNA number 4, which covers energy. CNA number 5, space study and the square kilometer array. And also within this particular, within the roundtable is CNA number 9, which focuses on feminist, womanist, Bosadi theorization. So to introduce the panel, which has been set up to help us with the discussions, I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves one after the other in accordance with your CNA. So I'm going to start with CNA number 2. Can the panelists, which are representing CNA number 2, aviation and aeronautic studies, introduce yourself to the audience? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Am I visible and audible, Doc?
Yes, very much. We can hear you very well. You can proceed.
Thank you very much. My name is Advocate Konanani Heperaligiria, and I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Jurisprudence, which falls under the College of Law. And of course, I'm representing, the aviation and aeronautical, studies. Of course, I'm here in my capacity as the project leader for the Engaged Scholarship on Rural Aviation, economy, which is actually aimed at trying to ensure that we are maximizing the value chain in the aerodrome, communities as well as rural towns. But I will be able to explain that in the interest of time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Doc. Thank you so much, Advocate.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Dr.
Thank you, Chair, for the warm welcome, and good morning, colleagues. My name is Dr. Meneli Sincube. I come from the Department of Mercantile Law in the College of Law. My research areas are primarily, for now, focused on aviation law, aeronautical studies, for IR and digitalization. And my primary research focus to date has predominantly been around the banking regulation, to see how there will be a connection with AI and how that can improve banking regulation, and see how we can better improve financial inclusion in South Africa. And I'm also a member of the Australia, which is led very well by Advocate Raleigh Gilia, who spoke before me. And I am part of that working group to see how best aerodromes and the aeronautical space can better serve the communities of South Africa and Africa at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ngube. Thank you so much for actually taking us through. Let me move on to CNA number 4. Maybe our participants from CNA number 2. They were talking about some having challenges with their lock, with their microphone. So let's have the CNA number 4 introducing themselves. Then we come back to those ones who are still having challenges with their mics. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here. My name is Pindile Pakati. I come from the College of Education and the Technology Department. I am a project member of climate change under Professor Msezane. We all know that climate change is no longer just an environmental concern. It is a present day reality that affecting our community, education system, livelihoods. As researchers, we have a responsibility not only to generate new knowledge, but also to ensure that our research contributes to practical solutions. And I am excited to be here to learn from each and every person on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pakati. Mrs. Pakati, thank you very much. We will, of course, indeed engage with much of the work you are doing as we get into the discussions, maybe after the introductions. So I move on to CNA number 5, space study and speculometer array.
Oops. Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you very well. You can proceed, Doc.
Okay. Yes, I'm Malebuti Bani from the Department of Physics within College of Science, Engineering and Technology. So I teach physics. Then my research area is on computational modeling of materials that are mainly found in South Africa for different applications. For example, within the catalytic niche areas, I worked with aviation and aeronautics, where we look at the metals and minerals found in South Africa, and we develop coating for gas turbine engines that are the jet engines. And we are also looking at the energy storage materials using graphene based. So I'm wearing many hats. I'm also the chair of the School of Science Community Engagement and Outreach Program. So we have a project called Science Edge. Then we are working with catalytic niche areas for science awareness, inclusion, and also for social justice. And lastly, I have been awarded a TAU fellowship, that is the teaching at universities fellow. So you have to ensure that there is institutional transformation and also curriculum transformation, but we'll engage more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much for even actually letting us on the different work you're actually doing, and it really begin to speak to the issues, even to the theme of these emerging researchers and postgraduate roundtable discussions. Can I move on to CNA number 9? CNA number 9. Womanist Bosadi theorization. Feminist, humanist Bosadi theorization. Dr. Nzieko, are we there? Dr. Nzieko? Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. You can proceed, Doc. Okay, we can't hear you. Just check your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Thank you so much, Doc.
Okay, I was using a earphone.
Awesome.
Okay, my name is Dr. Ogochukwu Febonzako, and I am a postdoctoral research fellow from the Department of Police Practice under the College of Law. I am my CNA is in twofold: one, feminist, humanist, and Bossard theorization, and the fourth industrial revolution. Here, my research interest area in this form is I am interested in discovering a deeper understanding of informal policing system or responses in the curbing of a high rate of IPV, that's intimate partner violence. How do we solve the problem? How do we reduce the curve? So that's what I will be doing and exposing in the course of time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nzieko. Thank you so much for actually telling us the work you are doing. Then I think one of our participants, Mr. Ramala McDonald Ramala, who was also supposed to be part of this panel and also representing the feminist humanist Bosadi theorization, couldn't manage to be with us today because he has been assigned by the VC some tasks to do in the Eastern Cape. So you can even see that when you become engaged, even it doesn't even take you time for the investor to notice the work you are doing. So I might also be maybe also just highlight some of the work Mr. Ramala McDonald is doing within the engaged scholarship projects and also within the CNA, which is the feminist humanist Bosadi theory. Thank you so much. I think we can I request a round of applause to welcome our panelists. I think we have heard them introducing themselves. Can we welcome them?
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Tego.
Oh, thank you. You're back now. Oh, thank you so much.
My mic and my. Okay.
You can proceed. Proceed, Mr. Makura.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tafara Makura, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Industrial and Engineering Management within the College of Science, Engineering and Technology at UNISA. So my research falls within the automotive catalytic niche area, where I am investigating South Africa's readiness to transition from internal combustion engine to electric vehicle manufacturing cars. So the global industry contributes significantly to South Africa's economy and employment. But the global markets are rapidly moving towards the electric vehicles. So my research is simply asking a simple but a very important question. Is South Africa ready for this transition? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Makura. We would engage with you much on those issues. I think even during the past 2 days, those are some of the issues which are being discussed on how that actually the academia industry collaborations. We do hear much from the work you are doing and how we are actually producing impact from there. Yes, Dr. Kopana, I think we can hear you now, is it?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, you can now hear. You can proceed now.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here today with you. My name is Dr. Mbone Ngopana. I can see here the road Peladi, which is the name that I like as well. Thank you. So, I'm the Department of Mathematical Sciences, the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. So, but I am based in a Center of Astrophysics and Space Sciences. So my based off my research, actually, it's on cosmology. Astronomy, it's very broad. It's divided in divisions. So, but cosmology, what we do actually, we just study the whole structure of the universe, like how actually the universe has been growing or evolving. How the objects that we see today actually has been formed before until the way we see them today. So trying to find some predictions actually how the universe will look like in the future based on periods or distances, the way we measure them on the sky. So also trying to understand how these astronomical surveys, one of them that we have them in South Africa, which is SKA, how can be useful to test this understanding of our universe itself. So yeah, I think I'll share more as we go on.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Kopana. So I think you would agree with me that this is a really packed set of panelists who are coming from diverse backgrounds and even working on various CNAs and also sectors, as you have heard. I hope you'll be able to engage with them. But before we came to that point where the audience would then engage with the panelists, we are going to be having a discussion with the panelists on some of the issues which pertains to the theme of this CS theme, particularly for the postgraduate student and emerging researchers CNA Roundtables, which is emerging voice, catalytic futures, postgraduate and early career dialogues, a CNA impact. Okay, so if I have indicated in the beginning, one of the objectives why the university decided to institute the catalytic niche areas was mainly to do with the busting of disciplinary silos, particularly conducting research within just one discipline, because as we've even learned through the COVID-19 pandemic is that societal challenges are becoming more complex, that they can't be solved with only one disciplinary focus. So through inter and transdisciplinary research, we work through the CNAs try to work, or actually core researchers to work at the nexus of different disciplines. And the CNA they were actually high intentional at busting disciplinary silos. So my question to you, which would maybe you are going to respond in line with your CNA, is in what ways within your CNAs are you working to actualize or actually busting disciplinary silos which actually have been found not to be very effective in addressing societal challenges? So I'm going to be giving you at least 3 minutes per each speaker to outline how within your CNA, the work you are doing within your CNA, you are helping to go beyond monodisciplinary focus, but bringing in multidisciplinary transdisciplinary and also interdisciplinary approaches in addressing societal challenges. So I would start with the same, the way you have been going on with the introductions, starting with the aviation and aeronautic studies. And Dr. Ndue, you are going to go first. Then we follow Advocate Ragilia, and then you follow, and then we move on to the next CNA. It's your time now, Dr. Ndue, to engage with the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for that question. Actually, it is a very good eye-opening factor, the fact that throughout the symposium, we've been challenged to see the value that comes with the CNAs and how we can do multi or transdisciplinary research. So currently in my CNA, the one that I'm presenting on now, aviation and aeronautical studies, as part of the ESRAE group, which is the Engaged Scholarship on Rural Aviation Economy, this is a working group which seeks to ensure that all the aerodromes that we do not know today, mostly because of these now big airports, OR Tambo, King Shaka, and so forth, but we forget that the aerodromes that exist, which have been monopolized in terms of ownership. And there's nothing that the communities benefit from this. So remember, I come from a background also of banking regulation, financial inclusion. And right now, I'm part of this aviation law working group, which seeks to ensure that in that aviation space, what do communities benefit from that? So what I can say that in my field of research we are doing right now, we're trying to ensure that all these aerodromes work for the communities. After working for the communities, this is going to expand the economy of such rural communities. And then thereafter, we'll ensure that all those members of such communities are being financially included. And in that sense, there's a lot of 4IR that is being used, especially in the banking regulatory space, which when we combine with all this work that we're doing as part of the aviation law working group, should bring about results that work for the community. We are not anchored on doing research in a community, but doing research with the community to understand from scratch what the problems are or the challenges faced by the communities within which these aerodromes exist. So what are we saying? The economy already exists as the base or the foundation, but is it working for them? No, it is not. So we are trying to ensure that all these people who are situated in spaces where we have all these aerodromes work for them. In the end of it all, we're going to have poverty alleviation, which is part of the Sustainable Development Goals. And in that, we are linking different niche areas, catalytic niche areas, to ensure that at the end of the day, all the SDGs and the UN development goals are met at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ngube. Thank you very much for that. Actually, we could hear that your background is mostly coming from banking, which is mostly they do it with commercials, but now you are now working in the aviation and also applying aviation law, which actually indicate that you're already actually moving, maybe actually applying across discipline in the work you are doing. Yes, can we move to you, Dr. Advocate Ragililia?
Thank you very much, Doc. What Dr. Manelis, who's my, colleague, has said is quite mouthful in a sense that we are working together in trying to transform, of course, the value chain, within the aerodrome communities. What we have also noticed as well is also to engage with other, colleges, which is comes together with, the UNISA North region, so as to ensure that in our participatory research, and that in our participatory research, we are engaging and also making, possible, solutions that we have to actually ensure that they are there. The other important aspect that I needed to highlight is the fact that the law on its own, usually it's more of, theoretical legal analysis. So So we are also ensuring that we involve ourselves, we go to the ground within those communities, engage with them with a view of transforming that value chain as it has also been exposed by Dr. Manelisi. But at the end of the day, we want to ensure that we are, revising, the structural governance as well as, the frameworks within those municipalities in a way that will also ensure that our people, more especially women, young, as well as, the marginalized entrepreneurial, people within those communities are also emancipated and also having access. We have noticed that the lease agreements that were actually entered before 1994, and those lease agreements, they are still, moving, or rather maybe being, used. And those lease agreements, we discovered that they are exclusionary in nature and they are not transformative. So together with camps, the UNISA North region, we are actually, involved in our participatory field research in a grassroots research work, as opposed to the normal, legalistic, analysis. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Actually Advocate, for actually highlighting the way you are actually maybe actually working across disciplines. Well, that's only the key objective of the catalytic niche areas, that we try to move, like hearing from you what you're saying, that you're even working even across even our own colleges, not only law, but also working together with other colleges within the university in the work you are doing. So thank you so much for the aviation panelists. Then I'll move on to the automotive CNA, Mr. Mafara, Mr. Makura. Can you engage with the question, the extent to which within the CNA, the work you are doing within your CNA, you are moving beyond just as single disciplinary approaches, but actually adopting multi, inter, and transdisciplinary research? Mr. Makura. Okay. Maybe Ms. Makura might be having. Tafara, are you there? Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming up. Yeah, you are muted. Just try to unmute. Okay, all right. Whilst you sort out the technical issues with regard to the mic, let me move on to the CNA number 4, energy, Ms. Tipindile Pakati. Can you please engage with the question, the extent to which within the CNA you are working on, how you are working or you are moving beyond monodisciplinary approaches, but to adopt multi-transi and interdisciplinary approach in understanding societal challenges. Thank you, Ms. Pakati. You can proceed. You're muted, Ms. Pakati. Can you please unmute?
Oh, sorry, colleagues, can you hear me?
Yes.
In my research on climate change education, collaboration is essential, working together with supervisors, fellow researchers, teachers, all local communities allows us to integrate diverse perspectives and develop solutions that are relevant to schools. CNA4 provides a platform where emerging researchers are supported through networking, mentorship, and interdisciplinary engagement, ensuring that research is not undertaken in isolation, but it contributes to a shared vision. of sustainability, because it is important for us to share the vision of sustainability, for us to create a future generation that is safe for the generation that is coming.
Mhm, mhm.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Ms. Pakati. I'm not sure, were you having challenges with your video or something? Would you really want to see you engaging as well on your video there when you come back again? Okay, so she indicated maybe the way in which you see, even within the College of Education, they are also even already working in issues of climate change. Which means they're even moving beyond their own, maybe the discipline of education, but also to engage with issues which are maybe transdisciplinary and even actually very complex. As we know, climate change is really one of the contemporary challenges we're facing in our societies. CNA number 5, space study and square kilometer array. Can you please engage with the question in the way in which you are moving beyond monodisciplinary to engage multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary approaches in the work you are doing within your CNA? We can start with Dr. Kopana, then we move on to Dr. Tibane in that order. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Debo. Yeah, I think Catholic niche areas, it actually breaks the private challenges that we have in the field. So it will help to connect as well as like other researchers in order how can we solve some challenges in the community that they have. So I'm saying this because astronomy actually, I can say, is still a small field that needs to grow actually in Africa as a general. So we are trying to engage with Africans in order to understand the study of this astronomy. So so it's still a problem in a way that we can initiate it to the communities. So, and how can we contribute or apply to community, which is something that we're trying to address. So I think Catholic niche is actually going to help us in order to think thoroughly of how can we also engage with other researchers, or how can we also improve in order for Africans to understand cosmology topic itself. And also, like, I think the also barrier it's language. Like the way you understand astronomy in model scientific research is still a challenge for Africans. So, and the nice thing about astronomy is that Africans, they also have like indigenous way of understanding a universe as a whole. So it's something that we need to connect as well with the communities, also participating in our research in order to bring like improvement in doing that. So I think it is.
Thank you so much. You are working within the astronomy. So which disciplines do you really work? Maybe do you integrate within astronomy? If you could just maybe highlight to the audience, which disciplines are these? Like yourself, which discipline do you come from, and which other discipline do you work with in this? Because we are still just in the within the busting discipline silos. So which other disciplines do you work within the astronomy, which are the actual CNA or project which you are working on?
You mean regarding the project that I'm working on? Sorry, I didn't hear.
I mean, yes, the disciplines. But you mentioned about the challenge about how it is difficult, well, like indigenous understanding of astronomy, which might be do with indigenous knowledges and that kind of stuff. So working across disciplines, actually applying multidisciplinary approaches and interdisciplinary approaches. Which disciplines, which other disciplines do you, apart from your own discipline, which other disciplines do you bring in your research?
Like doing outreach, of course, like attending to like local educations in order to introduce astronomy. So we're also trying to train the teachers in order to have like an understanding of astronomy so that they can deliver it to the learners, so that it can be broadly understood in the community as well, that we have a course that called cosmology and how can be understood in the community as well.
Thank you very much. Those issues of cosmology, when we move on to the African cosmology, I think it begins to highlight a lot of issues which are may not have been actually been researched or actually documented very, very much. I even agree with you that this is still a very novel area, or actually a new emerging area of research, which with much work to still be done in actually building it up. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kopana. Then, Dr. Tibane, can you engage with the question, please?
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I have more advantage because I am using computational simulation. So it cuts across all the catalytic niche areas. So my work, we bring together different experts from aviation, from energy studies, from space science and so forth. But now I want to talk about the Science Edge project, where we are working closely with space science.
Okay.
Yes, in space science.
Can I intervene, Doc? My questions would actually sequence, like you come to a point when I'm going to ask about these particular projects you're going to be doing. So now just focus on the research itself, the research within the CNA, without maybe mentioning about like the engagement scholarship projects.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to include the Engage Scholarship is that we are doing research within, and we are also doing teaching. Okay. So do you understand? Because we need, what we do is that, for example, we take what we do in the laboratory and say to the learners or the students who are across the world, go to your communities and identify the problems in your communities and work with your communities to develop solutions in terms of teaching and also in terms of research. So because we have 10 catalytic niche areas, we'll say, please identify one catalytic niche area. It may be space science, aeronautics, or energy studies. And within the communities, we have people with knowledge, and all the knowledge in the communities, they can cover, if you look, they can cover 10 catalytic niche areas, because we have people who are working from the mines and so forth. So now we are saying, can we work with them, co-create the problem, and also come with solutions from the communities? Yes.
Okay.
So we are bringing everybody with from different disciplines.
So do you agree? Would you agree with me that the period of just a single authored research or research article can be a general article that's written by one person? Maybe we're moving beyond that kind of research where it's just single authored to multi-authored projects or research outputs.
Yes.
If I can say that. Yeah.
So we are promoting that. And the other thing, as we're doing research, we are, for example, we are referencing scientists, but now we need to move forward and also reference community members who are coming with knowledge.
Yes. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much. I would engage with you on those particular aspects. So you begin to actually highlight in your intervention here. So moving on from the space study and square kilometer array, we'll move on to the feminist, humanist, post-study and theory. Dr. Nzeko, how are you in your research you are working on? How are you moving beyond monodisciplinary approaches to adopt multi-transdisciplinary and disciplinary research? Thank you. You're muted, Doc. Can you unmute? Oh, thank you. Yes, it's fine now. Yeah. We can't hear you, Doc. Hello, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Perfect.
So sorry, I was using
okay, sure.
Yeah. So okay, I want to put it thus that any meaningful and impactful research must be done in isolation. We need to build interdisciplinary teams because complex societal problems really fit neatly into one discipline. For example, my work with IPV, intimate partner violence, if you agree with me, it cuts across criminology, gender studies, sociology, social work, psychology, and whatever. So we must always aim at interdisciplinary team work. So, for instance, of recent, of course, each social problem, because personally, I don't think I know there's need for publication and publication output and other, but I am one person that is always disturbed by societal problem. For instance, I came to South Africa. I checked from my little background information. I discovered that South Africa is topping the list in the rate of crime, especially in Africa. Globally, is about fifth crime in the whole world. Then in Africa, it is topping the list. It's number one in crime rate. So I was disturbed. So a closer looking at it, I also discovered that violent crime is very high, and issue of intimate partner violence is part of violent crime. So what I was thinking, how do we reduce this curve? How do we solve this problem? So I having found myself in the Department of Police practice, I look at what policing model could help us, assist us reduce this curve of IP. So I look at I check through one. That's my catalyst niche area. Is dual. One, I'm looking at fourth industrial revolution, but now I'm dealing with feminist theorization. So looking at that, I see that most of third world country, or what we call the global south, the IPV curve is high in this area, and because of the endemic and the issue of culture, issue of some gender sensitive beliefs, like men control the family, men is in charge, and all those things. So, and I now look at it, I said, okay, can we look at the informal policing system? Because, when you look at this, you're asking yourself some question. Who's the access? We're no longer asking the issue of the IPV is very high and other. We are now asking the disparity, the who gets violated at the end of the day. Does it have to do with the issue of academic attainment? Does it have to do with the issue of economy? Does it have to do with issue of religion? Does it have to do with issue of location? Because enough.
Let me come in, Doc. Let me come in. I'm also wrestling with time as well on my side, but I really appreciate actually your intervention also when you read that the extent to which interpartner violence cannot be understood from one primary focus. And you evaluate that maybe we have to bring in law inside, we have to bring sociology, we have to bring in psychology studies into understanding this particular issue. And that is maybe actually where we would really want to highlight how are you actually applying inter-transi and multidisciplinary approach in understanding interpartner violence. My time is not doing well on my side. I would need to move Thank you so much, Dr. Nzeko. I will come back with you to you again on that particular research you are doing on interpartner violence, also the issue within the policing studies. Can I move on to Dr. Tafar Makura? Are you now? Are you now sorted in terms of your mic?
Yes, can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes. Yes, I can give you 2 minutes to engage with this question.
Okay. The automotive catalytic niche area is also inherently interdisciplinary because the transition from internal combustion engine cars, vehicles, to new energy vehicles cannot be achieved by automotive sector only. So it then requires a collaboration within several catalytic niches within UNISA. So my research demonstrates that interconnectedness. So it links the energy catalytic niche through electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Then it also goes beyond to battery technologies and grid readiness. It also connects with the fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, catalytic niche, that is through AI, Internet of Things, automation, and smart manufacturing. So it also aligns with natural science through advanced material and battery innovation, and with also health and environmental sustainability by supporting decarbonization, cleaner mobility, and reduced emission. So finally, it contributes to economic development by informing industrial policy, localization, and skills development needed for South Africa to remain globally competitive. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Makura, for engaging with that question so actually in a very precise manner. I think you would agree with me that the CNA actually a vehicle for actualizing the multi-inter and transdisciplinary approach which the university has adopted its strategic approach into research. So in the first question, I was just working with us within the university, within the research we are doing within the university, within our catalytic niche areas. But now the second question I want you to engage with, apart from advocating for multi and interdisciplinary approaches in research, the CNA are also a mechanism for impact, societal impact, which is one of the themes. I think it was even talking about impact for outcomes. If we look at the past 2 days thematic focus, and even ourselves are talking about a catalytic niche area impact through our voices as emerging researchers and through the catalytic work we are doing within as postgraduate and early career researchers. So I would want to specifically engage with this particular question, the panelists. Whom are you working with beyond academia, beyond other colleges within the university, beyond other academics in other colleges or universities? Who else are you working with? Which communities? Which other actors beyond outside the academia do you work with within your research projects you are doing? Can you just in just 1.5 minutes just indicate that whom do you work with? Because we are moving beyond the academia, but still within our catalytic niche areas, but working with others who are beyond the academia. Then can you just list, okay, in our project, we work with so and so and so and so and so. So these are the other actors we're working with, so that we know that you are not only academics in the work you are doing, but also engaging other actors who are not either from the society, it can be the industry, it can be municipalities. If you can just engage with that question, I would start with the feminist, humanist Bosadi theorist, Dr. Nzeko. Can you just indicate us whom do you work with beyond academia in when you are doing this research, interpartner violence, but within the policing sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Like I said, what I'm doing in informal policing of IPV. I'm working with the clergy because this part of the world, especially from Nigeria, people look up to religion as the last hope of the government, giving them that stability. So I work with the clergy. I work with because it cut across the community, the bystanders, religious group, the institutions that deals with it, like the NGOs. Then I also work with the traditional leaders, like the kings, who in their palace, they always bring this issue of violence in this part of the world, where they always want to tell them that the woman must be submissive to the husband, even at the cost of your death and all that. So we are looking at this. How do this informal system, in collaboration with formal system, help us solve this problem? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. You actually highlighted that you are now, we have actually moved out of the university now to engage with other actors within the community to even understand the problem you're actually engaging on. Thank you so much for being brief and also being so sensitive to the point. The space study and the square kilometer array. Dr. Kopana and Dr. Shibani, can you just indicate who else do you work with within your research, which are beyond the academia? Which other actors do you work with within your CNA? Thank you.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say at the moment, like I would say that there's no any current that it's really going, but it's something that we really think of, like also visiting the African people, how they describe, like how they understand a universe as a whole, how they describe it in their own languages, in their own tribes. So this actually is something that it quite going to help us in order to have like astronomy that can be also discussed at home, like to speak about science, in order to have like an understanding between a student and a parent, like what are you studying, so that they can understand that this is very quite useful. But there's some other groups that they've already started, like I can mention one of the countries like Ethiopia and is it Kenya, where like they go house to house and then also ask them questions like, how do you describe a moon in your own language? Like, how do you understand it? So it's something very, we have seen that it's something very common that we can understand based on model scientific research. So I think it's something that has to go on, and not only for one country, but also for other countries around, so that we can connect. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kopana. Really, it actually calls for actually us to move beyond academia to understand even the issues of cosmology, as you maybe they indicate that this is your area of research. Dr. Tivan.
Thank you. We are working with multiple stakeholders. We are working, yes, with communities in Limpopo, Palabora, and also Vembe district. And the project now is expanding to the whole Limpopo province because of the intervention that we did in March. We are working with Mpumalanga. We are working with Eastern Cape. We are working with Gauteng. And we are also working with what we call South African Institute of Physics. So we are working together on teacher-learner development. And now we are moving into early childhood development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you can agree with me that the CNA actually is a means on actually moving beyond, moving actually outside the university and begin to engage with societies for impact. Otherwise, if we just remain within the university, even the impact might not be realized. Thank you so much for this, for the CNA number 5 space study and the square kilometer. Yeah, can we hear from the energy sector, energy CNA, Mr. Pindile? Can you tell us who else do you work with within your project?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I can see me. You can see me now. Our projects are as we are working quite a number of people. We are internationally. We're working with University of Readings and University of Ghana. We are working with different projects. Our climate change research projects expand beyond academic. We are because it addresses climate change, requires collaboration, as I have mentioned, and also it is. We also engage with local communities whose indigenous and lived knowledge enriches our research and develop context. And we also work with primary school teachers, high school teachers, learners, SMTs, Department of Education. We work with Fundisa for Change, WESA, Department of Agriculture. We are engaging with quite a number of people right now. Some of our project members are in Mpumalanga engaging, and next week we will be engaging in KwaZulu-Natal, visiting different districts and different schools. We are very, very busy beyond the education sector. We collaborate with as I've mentioned, Fundisa for Change. We work with arts and culture and other NGOs that are interested in issues or climate change related activities. And yes, I don't know, I can mention a whole lot. And we are a very busy project. Thank you, Prof. Am I audible or am I?
You are muted, Dr. Tekwa. You are muted.
Oh, so thank you so much for I thought I was not muted. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Pindile, for actually indicating whom else you are working within your project. So the CNA 3 automotive industry, Mr. Makura, can you just maybe indicate beyond the universities, beyond academia, who else do you work with as collaborators within your project?
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, can hear you. Now it's fine.
Okay. I engage with the government through the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition to align with the national electric vehicle policies. I also work with automotive manufacturers such as Toyota, Ford, Volkswagen, BMW, so that we assess how ready are they moving from internal combustion engine cars to electric vehicles. We will also work with supply chain guys, which are the National Association of Automotive Component and Aligned Manufacturers. I also work with industry experts who will validate the electric vehicle manufacturing readiness index. That will be done through some scientific processes that will include the Delft process. By bringing those together, the academic industry and the policymakers, the research is designed to produce a practical and evidence-based solution for South Africa.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makura. We can really agree that people are already engaged. They are really engaged beyond academia, engaging with various actors in their various CNAs who actually will relate with their CNAs, and they are really working to make sure that impact is achieved. The CNA number 2, Aviation and Aeronautic Studies, Dr. Ngube and Dr. Ragilia. Can you just briefly, I think maybe one of you can just indicate, both you're almost like working the same, I like you're working the same project. Who do you work with? Whom do you collaborate beyond academia?
Maybe let me take it since on this one I'm actually the project leader. Of course, Dr. Manelis has indicated that we are working with municipalities, and I also reiterated that. We are also working with traditional leaders in our communities, and that is so because some of those aerodrome, facilities or communities, they reside in the land that, falls under the custodial, authority of the traditional leaders, kings, queens, and, chiefs. The other stakeholder, the industry stakeholder engagements that we have also had were with, SAMDEC together with Incoma, which is actually trying to establish an aerospace, village within our airport that we have recently acquired. We are also working with, ATNS, which is the Air Traffic and Navigation Services, together with also, the civil society movements. We are intending to go to Rustenburg very soon to Maracanelo, Career Expo, whereby we'll be inducting and also showing, these young ones, more especially the learners, together with the young youth, as well as other members of the marginalized communities. We also have the biggest manufacturer of, aircraft, which is Airbus, followed by Boeing. So Airbus, we have also engaged with them on the social responsibility part so that they can also engage with us and also come to the university, since, well, we have actually, acquired an airport. Those are some of the people that we have actually, or rather maybe some of the industry people that we have already engaged with. There are so many.
Thank you so much. I could even tell. I really wondered, okay, what is rural aviation? Then do we have what is happening really there? So it's quite interesting actually the way you even captured the project, also the work you're doing, and we can even begin to think who else can be engaged in that particular. Dr. Ngube, do you want, maybe not necessarily in the project, but in the work you're doing, do you have other actors, not necessarily in the aviation project? Might want to add? Okay, it's fine then. Let me move because time is actually running out. So, colleagues, thank you so much for the discussion so far. I think we have touched on multi and interdependent approaches through the CNAs. We have also looked at the extent to which the CNAs are actually a vehicle for impact, where we try to work beyond the academia, bring in other collaborators in the work we are doing. Then the last part which I want to move on is strategies for impact. We understand even the university itself has actually put up the Engaged Scholarship, which constitutes a central pillar of the university's bold declaration that values engagement for curriculum co-creation and societal impact. So I'm moving on. I want to move on to actually engage with these aspects, particularly more to do with the engagement research projects which you are engaged in, and also for the other panel members who might not actually maybe having a project, I would engage you with maybe a question which touches on how you are mobilizing your research for societal impact. So let's start with those who are within the engagement research projects. I'll start with Dr. Tivane. You're working on the Science Age project, research project. Can you please indicate, actually highlight or share with us, this might not be necessarily but a question, but share with us the extent to which engagement scholarship is actually a vehicle through which we can actualize the catalytic niche areas within the university. Thank you. You can go.
Thank you. Should I? Okay.
Yes, you can start with maybe just
engaged scholarship.
Yes, you can. Excuse me. You can start even maybe just giving us a little bit about the Science Age, the project. Then you move on now to the question how it is actually helping you to actualize the CNAs actually moving beyond the university to engage societies, then also bring in the question we were talking about the actors we are working within the project. Thank you. You can go.
Okay, thanks a lot. Science Edge is a science community engagement project in the School of Science. As you know, college CSET has 3 schools. We have School of Computing, Science and Engineering. So I'm in School of Science. So we have a big community project where we work with academics from mathematics, physics, chemistry, statistics, and also for computing. So we come up with projects, then we go to the communities for science or STEM awareness, and we also do community work with everyone. We want to include, because previously we have been working with learners and educators, but now in terms of space science, we have a sky viewing event where we invite all the members of the community to come, and we take resources from UNISA, the telescopes, we go to the villages, we want to entice them, and we want to teach them what do we do in terms of space science. So now we also have a part of teaching and what we call engaged teaching. What we do, for example, in physics, we have 5 experiments for 2nd year level, right? So we have students looking at LRC, don't worry about the terms, microwave optics, nuclear spectroscopy. Then now we are saying, we are taking you out of the laboratory. Then you go to your communities. Then you have this, we have given you the expertise in those LRC. Wherever you are, in South Africa, in Nigeria, identify problems that are related to LRC, to microwave optics, work with your community, work with your industry, and come up with a solution for those problems. Then we have our students, they went to the communities, they worked with the industry, the communities, they identified the problems, and they came up with solutions. And now we are seated with a problem because they submitted what looked like mini dissertations, like they were doing research. So what we are doing in terms of teaching, we are sending our students back to the community to solve the community problems. We are also looking at the researchers. Let us go to our communities using our 10 catalytic niche areas, identify the problems within our communities. Let's work with expertise in the communities, solve those problems. Then it is when we can also include the multi-trans and interdisciplinary, where we are seated and we come up with solutions for Africa and beyond.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tubani. Thank you very much. How has that helped you to identify real society? Because sometimes when we theorize within our offices, but without going to the communities, we might not actually, might even address a problem which is not there in the community. But if you are engaged, you are already engaged with the communities, it really helps you to identify the problems with the communities. So you are already addressing a problem which is already in existence, and actually help even not in terms of actually impacting the sort of impact which the university is actually really seeking. Thank you so much for the engagement with that. Let me move on to the aviation. Actually, yeah, to the panelists working on the rural aviation project. Can you just engage with this question? How has that helped you to even to identify the societal challenges which with the communities and begin to work on that, rather than us working from the university to the society, but instead of working with the society in identifying problems? Yeah, Dr. Ngube, you can go.
Thank you, Chair. I'll speak a bit and allow my project leader to also add. Thank you. Remember, our project is anchored on rural communities. And what we've done on the first stage, or rather the second stage, is to visit these communities interact with them and look for the challenges which are contemporary instead of going to the literature that is on Google Scholar and everywhere else to try and solve a contemporary problem with outdated literature. So our first step is to already engage the communities so that we understand from the base what the challenges are, how best and what interventions we need, and what other relevant stakeholders we need to come and hold hands with us in order to have collaborative efforts which speak to these challenges and ensure that at the end of the day, this project is for the community and not mirrored to look as if it is for the community. Thanks.
So it's really when you're actually doing engaged research, it's quite a different approach to the usual research we have known, is it? Can you just if you agree with me that the starting point is even different from the way we know research, actually the way we do research. Dr. Agilia, you can even come in and respond to that.
No, thank you very much. Like I've indicated, our research usually from a legal, perspective is more of desktop research. So we have decided to translate it into more of practical economic access, and by doing so, we had to also engage with other colleagues from camps so that they can be able to assist insofar as the grassroots research is concerned. But of course, in relation to the challenges that we have identified, of course, our rural engaged scholarship is more tailored towards ensuring that we align, administrative law together with, the societal challenges that our communities are actually facing in trying to redress the imbalances of the past that have been created by the structural and governance, models that were actually put in place that were exclusionary to our people. So we decided that no, we have to engage them so that we can be able to also create a dual evaluation matrix so that we can be able to ensure that we do not only focus on peer review articles, but also pilot demonstration together with also other entrepreneurial spaces. But over and above, we are trying to dismantle the anti-transformation models that we put in place by the previous and also by the municipalities, because the municipalities are the ones that are actually in charge of all these aerodromes. And I can tell you one thing, we have been going to these communities to try and engage with them. At no point have we managed to get the municipalities to come and engage with us. Yet at the same time, they are allowing, the minority groups to continue on enjoying the economic rights that were actually supposed to be enjoyed by everyone, to the tune of 69 rand in other instances per annum. You'll find that someone will be paying 69 rand per annum for the entire aerodrome or airfield. That on its own, you find that other people, they do not have an access to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much, Advocate. I was maybe want to put the Doc as a title. Thank you, Advocate.
I receive.
All right. So I move on to Dr. Nzieko. After conducting your research, who do you mobilize to ensure that your research doesn't only end in the journal articles, but actually begin to inform policy? Thank you. In a minute, Doc, in a minute.
Come again, my program director.
The question.
Yeah, come again with the question.
After you have conducted the research, how do you mobilize your findings to ensure that it reaches those who would want to ensure that it doesn't end in the journal, but it would begin to impact policy or actually, impact a societal change?
Okay. The truth of the matter is that the study we are doing, we are not yet done, because I started with understanding the problem, being worried about the problem, the high IPV in Africa or in South Africa or Nigeria. So I started what I called scoping review for me to understand the extent of that problem. So, and that's what I'm doing. After that, I will engage a lot of institutions, including the Ministry of Justice, the NGOs involved in trafficking in person and all that. So, but for now, I want to state this, that for us to have impactful research that will solve a really social problem, we must start with the community from the inception.
Thank you.
So you must engage with the community from that inception, not using them as just a data producers, but just to engage with them to understand the problem from their perspective. We'll call it a term in sociology, we'll call it an ethnographic study, where you want to understand the problem from the culture barriers point of view, not you staying in your comfort zone and just conceptualize and just for the purpose of churning out publications. So it doesn't, at the end of the day, and just coming back to your questions, if you look at the publication we do on the Impact Factor Journal, it's just like less than 10% of people read it. But if we try to engage policies, documents, social media, relevant social media, and the symposium and all that, you now see that the people, so that we will not, at the end of the day, after our beautiful writing, our beautiful nonsense, we'll dump it where people cannot access it. It's not useful. Who engage with it? Thank you.
I've got it. Thank you so much. I know you're so passionate about this, but the good part is that you have to start with the communities. That's the point which I actually would take away from what you've been saying. Dr. Kopana, how do you mobilize your research after conducting your research? How do you mobilize to ensure that your research doesn't end in the journals? I'm running now with against the time. Just a minute, please.
Oh, thank you so much. So as Dr. Malebu already put some of the important points there, that we also do a stargazing, also to engage with the communities, and also there are some of universities that they are not really having science, so we they're really not good on trying to have programming. So it's something that we need to also to improve. We also engaging with those universities also to improve on programming, coding, simulations, because now it's something that it's really pushing into the next generations. Because astronomy is something that, because we're studying the universe as a whole, so we need to collaborate with international people and also keep updating on our work, how actually the results, how they are going. So it's something that we really collaborate. It also goes with conferences in order to give updates about the research. Also we're having some workshops in order to give those ones who don't have a background about the astronomy or programming or simulations. So which is something that we do. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Dr. Kopana. Ms. Pindile, can you just in just less than a minute indicate how you mobilize your research after you conduct your research, that it doesn't end in the journal but begin to inform policy and actually have impact, societal impact? Yes, you're muted. We can't hear you. Can you unmute? Yes, can hear you now. Yes, can go.
We mobilize our research findings by ensuring that they reach the people who can use them to make a difference. Rather than limiting our findings to academic publications, we share them with schools, teachers, communities, policymakers, and environmental organizations through workshops, community engagement seminars, policy dialogues, and teacher development. Within our climate change projects, findings are translated into practical innovation. For example, recommendations are used to support climate resilient school gardens, water conservation initiatives, waste management, and recycle projects, such as, those projects that are happening in our schools, and the integration of climate change education into classroom practice. We know that climate change can be taught across the curriculum, from maths to life skills. We can ensure that it is infused in those subjects. I can give examples, but we don't have a time, and we ensure that integration of climate change education also in classroom is important. We also develop educational resources and training materials that teachers can immediately apply in their classroom. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really see you would really try by as much as you can to ensure that the research you are doing does not end just in a paper, but actually reaches those whom you intend to actually apply for what societal impact. That is the ultimate goal. Mr. Makura, can you indicate how you are mobilizing your research to ensure that it's not only going to be ending with the publication, but also has a societal impact which we are seeking?
Yeah, for mine, it's still in the infant stage because I'm still a PhD candidate. So I'm just gonna speak on what I will be doing. So for publication, obviously it's not the final goal. The final goal is to share the knowledge. So the real impact will come when research is adopted, used by the stakeholders. So in my research, I'm developing an electric vehicle manufacturing readiness index that can be used by automotive manufacturers, suppliers, and policymakers to assess their readiness for electric vehicle transition and identify areas for improvement. I will be disseminate the findings through industry engagement, policy briefs, workshops, and also the conference, so that they can reach the decision makers, not only the academic part. Because industry experts and policymakers are involved through the research process, if I develop the findings with them, we create a sense of ownership that will increase the likelihood of implementation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makura. Thank you very much. I think we can actually agree that the CNAs have become actually the vehicle through which the university is actually beginning to make impact by actually engaging with various actors. It can be from the captains of industry, it can be manufacturers, is maybe is been indicated, it can be societies with regard to dealing issues of crime, and also or sometimes even if very maybe novel areas like aviation in the rural areas. Might talk of issues of climate change, which are our day-to-day experiences, which we need actually like ensure that our research actually begin to address some of these challenges, even through science research and the various work which the researchers are doing. And I would want to take this opportunity. I've seen there have been some questions which have been posted on the chat, which if time was permitting, I think we could have engaged, but I'm also seeing that there's been already some engagement with the questions, where questions which have been posed to particular colleagues, they were already like engaging with them. Which CNA has the greatest impact? I think this was later on. Then the other one was talking about Okay, Dr. Nue, do you have any practical example of how these rural communities are included from the onset? I think this has been a question to us, even which Dr. Evan Zieko was trying to say that, okay, let's start with the communities rather than theorize within in our desk. Then there was a question about, there's a question which also talks about, okay, which say, okay, I agree. Okay, no, I will skip this one. I think this was the first round table. Then thanks, Dr. Somo, for the question. This was the response. The Rural Aviation Project, our working group is quite novel, having been formally approved this year. I think he just responded to that question. Mr. Nue, what role can communities play in shaping research agendas? Yes, and so that outcomes reflect their priorities rather than extend our interests. Yeah, when we go out as researchers to do research and fulfill our outputs here. So we should begin to work to engage society. I think that's what, Dr. Nube been engaged with that particular question. So the issue, really what we have seen is that the university has even set up even the strategies, but apart from setting up the CNAs, the investors even put up the ways through the engagement scholarship institutionalization, the way in which we can even begin to actualize or begin to collaborate with other actors, collaborators which are beyond the university for societal impact. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the panelists and also the audience for actually an engaging session. Some of your inputs have been actually evaluated there, and also the responses will also be captured in a report which is going to be produced out of from these roundtables which have been doing. Thank you so much. I would now take time back to Professor Jessica Murray to round up the roundtables. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tekwa. One of the keynote speakers during the main program of the symposium reminded us that innovation requires an ecosystem. And I think these sessions really demonstrated what such an ecosystem can look like. Different fields, different questions, methods, perspectives brought into productive conversation, and all with intellectual energy and innovation of emerging scholars. I think the originality and depth of the contributions we've heard really affirm the substantive value that emerging scholars add to our catalytic niche areas. And they leave us with a really strong sense of confidence in the scholars who are helping to shape these catalytic niche area futures. Again, a special word of appreciation to our two chairs for holding these rich and wide-ranging conversations together so expertly, and to all of our panel members for bringing such compelling scholarship, insight, and energy to these roundtables. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. With that, I'm going to close off the second of our roundtables, and I wish you all a very pleasant weekend ahead. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.